On the line right now is Matt Schlap. Good morning, Matt. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, great to be with you again.
We kind of got lucky because just yesterday we were talking about you and the endorsement of George Phillips. We had Assemblywoman Tenney on. She really hammered you guys in the Post-Standard, and I asked her if she stood by those comments. And in addition to calling you guys a disgrace, she referred to you as a social club. How do you respond to Assemblywoman Tenney?
Well, I guess, I do try to treat people well, and I have a lot of good relationships and a lot of good friends. And one of the things the ACU, the American Conservative Union, does, which is the group I chair, is put on CPAC every year, which is the largest conservative event of the calendar year, where conservatives come from around the country. You know, what's really cool is they're now coming from around the world, from places like the UK and Japan and other places. So, yeah, we think having good relationships with people is important. And by the way, when you go to Congress, one of the things you have to do is work with a lot of different kinds of Republicans and some independents and some moderate Democrats to try to get things done. And I think that's one of the things that the voters in your district ought to look at.
So did you endorse Tenney when she ran against Richard Hanna 2 years ago?
You know, it's a great question. I wasn't the chairman then.
Yeah.
And so, I could certainly look back and check.
I'd like to know the answer to that. I think that would be.
We have graded her in terms of her legislative record, and I want to say that there are things that she's been great on. I think she got a 75% with us. And, we kind of consider 80% to be that threshold as to whether you're a conservative or not. But, we'll give her due on the fact that on 75% of the things she voted on, she voted the right way. But she has a long way to go. We love our A's, people that get A's on our scorecards. And look, George Phillips does not have a voting record, but George Phillips is somebody we believe in the interviews that we've had with him, we've walked through the issues with him. We believe George is going to be a very strong conservative voice in Congress. And additionally to being a strong conservative voice, George has a winning way about him. George has a likability, which I think is very important in politicians, especially for politicians you're sending to Congress, because the whole point of Congress is trying to work with your colleagues to get conservative achievements. And those are the types of things we want to see.
She did ask, how could you go against the state conservative party, which has endorsed her?
Well, Mike Long, the chairman of the state conservative party, is on our board. We have a good, big, diverse board. And we have a subsection of the board that determines these types of questions on endorsements. And I have to say one thing about Claudia Tenney is, she is probably a very determined person, but she sometimes lacks a bit of charm. And the people at the council felt like that she was pretty rough and in some ways disrespectful in her interactions with us, which, in combination with the fact that she got a C on our scorecard, it made it all the easier to say that George Phillips is the better person in this race.
And do you think that her response to your endorsement was telling?
Yeah, I think it is. And look, I bet Claudia Tenney and I, if we sat down and had a cup of coffee, there'd be a lot of things we could agree on. And what she probably will learn in politics as she has success is work with people. Try to find a way to work with people. What she did in this case is she's never met with me, but yet she was plenty willing to attack me. And I think if that's the kind of person that you want to represent you, go for it. For as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the conservatives who listen to our voices, and there are plenty who do, once again, CPAC is the largest conservative event of the calendar year, we think it's important to tell them who we think really stands up for their values, including, by the way, the values of strong families and protecting unborn life and making sure that we have a culture that can keep America strong.
And how did she end up with a C? I mean, what were the scores that brought her individual scores that brought her overall score down?
Yeah, and we can walk through all those. We can walk through all of those votes.
Yep.
And if you want to have me back on,
I would. Yeah.
Yeah, we can go through what they are. Once again, we want to give her due. If she were to get the nomination, she'd be much better than the Democrat alternative. We're always trying to find ways to work with people, and that's what we encourage her to do as well. Don't go on the attack This endorsement wasn't ever aimed at her in a personal sense. It was aimed at the fact that we think, in all honesty, just like Steve Forbes does, just like the Kemp family does, just like so many other great conservatives like Chris Smith, that he's the better choice. And we have the right to make that determination. By the way, it's still America.
It is still, last time we checked.
That's right.
It is still America. Manaski.
You mentioned the Kemp family. I know George Phillips is very involved in the Kemp Foundation and mentions Jack Kemp quite a bit. So I would imagine, she would say that the fact that you're mentioning Kemp just shows that this was a done deal from the beginning.
What do you mean a done deal? I don't understand what that means.
Well, if he was going to be bidding for the nomination, you were going to give it to him. She has said, he's got all these ties to Washington.
No, that's completely untrue. Let me be really fair. Let me be really candid here. When we do these, when we make decisions on endorsements, we take it incredibly seriously. It can't just be about anything other than who would be the better conservative or the best conservative in a contest, and who could be the most effective legislator. So we take those things into consideration, and that's what the group of board members who were involved in this decision. That's what they did. And by the way, Mike Long, who's a very respected board member, somebody who I really listen to, respect, and really revere. But our analysis is that George Phillips is a stronger conservative, and a stronger conservative in all the issues that we care about. And I'll stand with Steve Forbes any day of the week.
All right. We'll bring you back. We have a debate coming up on Monday, which is going to be very interesting with the three of them in studio. But we'll get you back here if we can. And
love it.
Go point by point. We originally had you coming on to talk about the endorsement, Obama endorsing Hillary. I have about a minute. You want to touch on that one?
Obama endorsing Hillary shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I do think it puts him in a weird position, though, because Hillary Clinton has run for president while the FBI is investigating her as a target of a very serious investigation. They might come forward to the AG and to the White House with a recommendation to take legal action against her. And the president has put himself in a very awkward position because now he's basically signaling to the DOJ that there's nothing wrong with Hillary Clinton and maybe they ought to back off.
Listen to this part of the statement, and then I'd like a quick comment.
I know how hard this job can be. That's why I know Hillary will be so good at it. In fact, I don't think there's ever been someone so qualified to hold this office.
Wow, that's a big statement.
Well, she's certainly a lot more qualified than he was when he ran in 2008. That was one of the arguments she made. It's one of the things I agree. It's one of the only things I agreed with Hillary Clinton on.
Yeah. Wow. Listen, as always, we appreciate your time, Matt, and let's get you back.
Great. Let's get back on, and let's thrash through these conservative issues, and let's make sure that the people who are voting in New York 22 know who the right candidate to support is.
All right. I will. I'm looking forward to that moment. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Fantastic.
All right, Matt Schlap, and that will be interesting. Pretty good. All right, listen, we're out of time here. Glenn Beck, top of the hour, then news, and we head into the weekend. A lot of things going on. The world's largest yard sale is tomorrow, and that is over at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds. Be a great event for you the weather's going to be great, and the stations will all be there tomorrow. And, of course, that beer fest tomorrow over at the brewery. Check it out. WIBX Utica Rome.